Welcome to another attempt at filling out the application. In other words, expanding our ability to apply the words of Scripture to our lives. I'm your host Larry, and today we will be looking for connection points in Acts chapter 19. My two favorite topics in Acts chapter 19 are sweat rags and souvenirs. The Temple of Artemis in Ephesus was a big deal. It was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world and was so powerful that it was even part of the Roman banking system. It drew people to make religious pilgrimages from all over, and the silversmiths of Ephesus made their living selling shrines of Artemis to those same pilgrims. To our realm of experience, they were making a nice income selling souvenirs to religious tourists. It's kind of telling that when the silversmiths rise up against Paul and the Way, they first proclaim the danger to their trade, and then their secondary concern in verse 27 is that the goddess, who is worshipped throughout the province of Asia and the world, will be robbed of her divine majesty. Their economic concerns definitely came before their faith concerns. The whole thing finally turned into a riot. Verse 32 sums up the confusion perfectly. Most of the people did not even know why they were there. Paul, bold as ever, wants to go address the mob. The disciples with him prevail, and they do not let him go. Fortunately, the riot isn't allowed to go very far, as an extremely rational city clerk points out that no real crime has been committed. Even if one was, there were perfectly legal and proper avenues to pursue justice. His greater warning concerned their danger of being charged with rioting. In the empire, violating the Pax Romana, or the Peace of Rome, was a far greater crime to risk than anything of which Paul was being accused. They went home pretty quickly at that point, bringing an end to the chapter. It's kind of funny how much fuss is made over shiny silver souvenirs, idols that don't really accomplish much of anything. Earlier in the chapter, when Luke describes the miracles that God is working through Paul, he tells us that even handkerchiefs and aprons that had touched him were taken to the sick, and their illnesses were cured, and the evil spirits left them. People often look to this passage, and I have even known churches to pray over handkerchiefs and send them to be laid on people who are battling serious health problems. I don't have any problem with that, but it's kind of funny that they are always clean, new, pristine white handkerchiefs. Paul was a tent maker, working to support himself and generally turning down support that was offered to him by the churches. So it shouldn't be that surprising that the Greek word that we translate as handkerchief actually means sweat rag, which would mean that the apron here is not something frilly from a kitchen, but maybe something leather that he uses when working out in the heat. It's a little more earthy than we first imagine. I like to think that Paul was really busy, and folks would snag his used, sweaty rags that he would wipe his face with and run off to lay them on someone they were praying for. They might not have smelled that good. Maybe someone grabs his apron, and as they head off with it, he yells, "You know I'm going to want that back when you're done. It's my best apron." I like it better when we don't make it all sound so clean and white, like something right out of the package. People made their living selling shiny souvenirs that had no spiritual power at all. They were craftsmen, though, so they probably looked really nice. Artsy, even. Meanwhile, some crazy, caring disciples were running around laying sweaty rags and stained aprons on hurting people, and seeing prayers answered and lives restored. How awesome is it that while the world pursues shiny things that do little, God is taking the things that are worn and smelly and working miracles through faith. How much can He do through us when we just offer Him whatever we have? That's enough for this week. Let's go be active disciples who don't just read the Word, but live the Word.